Hi, this is Eric Martin with Board Game Geek News here with Munir from MJ Games, looking at Cash or Crash from Alex Weldon. See, we've got 8 piles of cards on the table. We got a 2 to 8 player game. Yeah. What are we doing here?
Well, basically, we're trying to survive. It's to be the winner, you have to be the last one who still have some cards left. You know, at least 1 card left. You know?
Okay.
So it's a game that processes by elimination. If you start with 8 players, as soon as a player doesn't have any more cards, he's eliminated, and so forth. You know? Okay. That's really. It's a game that it's a little bit in the same family as a game like Bullshit or Perudo, which is a dice game. You know, right. So really a game based on bluff.
Okay. So each of us are going to have a deck of cards?
Has a set of cards. So basically the set is with 3 commodities. You have gold, which is in red, oil in green, and wheat in blue.
Okay.
And in each category you have cards with 3 symbols, cards with only 1, 3 cards which have 4 symbols, 2 and 2 of each, and 1 with the 3. So it's fully symmetrical. You have 9 symbols of each commodity.
Okay.
So when you start the game, this is basically these are your assets at the beginning. All the players have the same assets, and what we do, we start by choosing. Each player chooses 2 cards, which will be his investment in the round. So that's the choice. You know, whether you want to bluff or not is at that moment that you probably decide what you're going to do.
Okay.
And we're going to bet on everything that's invested, so the other cards don't count. So if we are 4 players, there are going to be 8 cards invested, and we're going to bet on it. So if I start the game and I say, I don't know, 3 gold, it means that my bet is that there are at least 3 gold icons among the 8 cards.
Okay.
And of course, the next player has to either say, I sell, because he doesn't believe it, so he thinks the bid is too high, or he has to increase the bid. And he can do it in 2 ways, either by increasing the quantity, so from 3 he can go to 4, 5, 6, whatever he wants, and he can change then the type of commodity that he's betting on, or keep the same quantity but add 1 commodity. So basically he could say also 3 gold and 3 oil. In this case, he's stating that there are at least 3 gold items and 3 oil items among the, and so forth, so you can increase like that, up to a point where somebody is going to say, I sell.
And you have to keep increasing both. Once you have 3 gold and 3 oil, the next one has to...
You can go to 4 single commodity if you want. You know, you can go back. You can go to 3 of all, 3 of each, basically, and then you have to go to 4 or 5 or 6, and you can change the commodity all the time, of course. You know. And at some points we check. You know, and somebody say I sell, we check, we count, and the one who is wrong loses his investment and has to continue the game with 2 cards less than he had previously, up to a point where he has no more cards and he's gone.
Okay.
that's the basic, I would say the basic rule. We have 2 other ways to play the game. One which is called the endurance, which is a long way more cerebral, where you invest only 1 card instead of 2, and it takes much longer, and you cannot jump when you increase, and it's like a much thought approach.
Okay. And in terms of trying to read other people and pay attention.
And the other one, which is the one I prefer, but you need to have some experience with the game, is called the blitz rule. It's faster. You also invest two cards, but then you don't have to play in turn. So if I say something, it doesn't have to be you. Somebody else can jump and play out of turn, etc. So it's like the real, you know, the
more like a stock market type.
It goes very fast. There's a point where nobody wants to say nothing because it's too risky, and then the person who has, or the player who has to say something, is the one who's to the left of the last one who said something, basically.
Okay.
So then you have to go back to in turn, because there is a point where nobody, but you can still wait a little bit. Just somebody else wants to say something instead of me. I mean, and sometimes somebody jumps in, you know, and so that's the game. There are a few details which I passed. One rule which I like, is optional, is when somebody says I sell, it's called the double rule. You can say, okay, you don't believe me, I double. Basically, the ones who's going to lose twice the cards. Instead of 2, you can lose 4 cards in one shot.
Okay.
Then the other one has still a way to back out. Say, okay, do you know what? Finally, I don't sell. I believe you. I'm going to say something else.
Okay.
You see, so that's a way. That can be the ultimate bluff. You know, you say, okay, you don't believe me. I double the amount. You know, so it's like a little bit the all-in in poker. You know.
Right.
So that's the game. Basically, there are a few details which I passed, but that's the mechanic, the base mechanics of the game. Very fun, adult game. Of course, you have to know to bluff, and you can trap your opponents by starting with something that you don't have, and if they build up on it, at some point you know that they count on you, but you're not there. You know? Okay.
Thanks very much for
You're
the
welcome.
overview.